And we are live. Welcome back to the Wanna Parlay podcast. I'm Lantz. Next to me is no one because I'm your sole host today. Jack decided to leave us on this glorious Tuesday. This show is brought to you by Wanna Parlay, home of the $2 parlay and the world's richest parlay, where every day people are turning $2 into $2,000. We've got a great show for you guys today. We have Lantz, the drip contest winner, joining us to talk about it. And we also have the pick 4 winner over the weekend, C Thanes 3, also joining. Now, these are also not official. They have not responded back. So if they join out of nowhere, I will be prepared, but I'm also prepared if they don't join. There's a lot to talk about. The Luka Lakers looked dominant last night. I still have my final thoughts about the Super Bowl, and we'll talk some NBA around the league with some of the transactions that went on and how those teams are doing. So first things first, let's start with the Lakers, Luka, LeBron. Yes, I know. Last night's game was against the Utah Jazz, who are pathetic and will be pathetic for the foreseeable future, barring a Danny Ainge masterclass. But man, did that Lakers team look good. Even before Luka took the floor, they've looked good. They've been winning 10 of their last 11 games. Lakers are dialed. The addition of Dorian Finney-Smith and Vando returning to the starting lineup, Lakers have looked damn good defensively because of the long, versatile defenders, especially after the trade, Anthony Davis departing from the Lakers. You really thought there was going to be a huge drop-off defensively, but look at this potential starting lineup from the Lakers. Luka, point guard, 6'8". Austin Reeves, shooting guard, 6'5". LeBron, wing, 6'9". Dorian Finney-Smith, 6'7", with a long wingspan, great defender. Jackson Hayes, 7-footer. That's a tall, long lineup for any other opposing team playing us. There's rumblings, and actually I'm pretty sure it's confirmed Alex Len will be signing with the Los Angeles Lakers. That gives us a backup big man, a rotational piece. Good friend of mine, Stanley Johnson, has signed to the South Bay Lakers. Might have to reach out to him and get him on this show. That'd be good stuff. And talking about Luka, Luka's been out for 2+ months and is in a completely new environment with a whole lot more pressure. So give the man a little time before we see his regular numbers. LeBron James is ageless, by the way. He hasn't looked this good since their bubble chip, or maybe even 2018 LeBron. This is someone I haven't seen in a while. This guy looks insane. We play the Jazz again, which isn't great. Not a great team to see how you match up because they're just not good at all. They're not good at all. But we'll get more into the NBA, Lakers, and all that later on in the show. Right now, I'm going to hop into the Super Bowl, and these are my final thoughts. Last time I'm talking about it. I thought it was going to be yesterday, but there's just too much on my chest, too much I want to say. So opening up, why did the Chiefs abandon the run game so early? All year, they've looked like a running team. Mahomes didn't have the stats that he's had in the past. It was run, it was defense, they win games, and that's how they did it. A question I have, did Andy Reid already know how bad the mismatch was on the line of scrimmage before the game started? Is that why he abandoned the run game? I don't know. Why would you? The rumblings of his genius putting a Hall of Fame guard at left tackle, talking about Joe Thuney here. This really, really, really should have tipped me off about how this game was going to go. You wouldn't change something like that this late in the season if there wasn't a problem, because if something ain't broke, you simply just don't fix it. So there obviously was problems. This game reminded me a lot of the Oregon versus Ohio State Rose Bowl. Just a complete mismatch on the line of scrimmage, which ultimately destroyed the losing team's game plan and put each of these quarterbacks in bad situations. You saw Gabriel in that Rose Bowl, no answers, and you saw Mahomes in this Super Bowl, no answers. When you can rush 4 and drop 7 with no threat of run, and you can't even adequately block the 4 rushing, you're not going to win a football game. I'm sorry. I don't make the rules. I just enforce them. I follow them. Everyone knows the best football teams are built inside to out. This is why Jim Harbaugh passed on Brian Thomas Jr., who's an all-time wide receiver prospect, passed on him for Joe Alt. So his line was set for the next 10 years for his franchise quarterback. You build inside to out. But I believe Nick Sirianni deserves all the credit in the world. Both of these Super Bowls, the Eagles have shown up and shown out. Even though when they lost earlier a couple years ago to the Chiefs, I mean, they lost 38-35, and they had a lead going into the fourth quarter. So kudos to Sirianni. Guy's the man. After they started 2-2, Sirianni and Kellen Moore made the adjustment of using the advantage they had, which is the line of scrimmage and Saquon Barkley, and it ended up winning the next 16 of 17 games they played after that. That's nuts. That's damn near perfect. I think the Chiefs were outcoached in this one. I know we missed a banger last night, KG. Good to see you, my man. I'm doing a solo show today, so it's just me. I'm going in talking about the Super Bowl. I know we missed the drop takeover. How was it? Please let me know. Let me know right now in the chat as I continue on with this. But yeah, I think the Chiefs are out coaching this one, which is very rare for Andy Reid to lose the coaching battle. Looked like the Chiefs panicked after a couple handoffs and just prayed Mahomes' magic could get the job done. But when you aren't running the ball and the safeties and linebackers stop staying honest and just play the pass, it's difficult. You have nothing. KG is hungover as fuck. That's awesome. As you should be. I mean, I bet that was a great time. I mean, it was from 4 p.m. to 2 a.m., if I'm correct. Well, I mean, that's a long day, KG. That's a long day. But the Taylor Street Siders had people talking to themselves. That's what, I mean, that was promoted on this show. We tried to tell the people. The sliders, I forget what they were made out of. There's something special going on. You guys went out after. You guys went out after to 4 a.m. So you guys are degenerates. You guys are my kind of people. You guys are the people I want to hang out with because that sounds like goddamn fun. That sounds like a great time. KG, I'm more than bummed I couldn't make the appearance. You know, tried to talk our way into maybe, you know, a little content day, get the tickets paid. We come, wanted to support. Just didn't work out. But you guys are absolute legends, and I appreciate you for tuning in. You're an absolute dog. That sounded like an incredible day. And honestly, my final Super Bowl thoughts. Overall, all the credit in the world to the Eagles, Jalen Hurts and Sirianni, because these would have been the two guys getting all the criticism in the world if they had lost that game. Now, everyone, you do need to talk to Jim Bob for the next one, because I do want to be there. I want you to know I want to be there. But think of this, KG. The Rams were the only team these playoffs to really give the Eagles a run for their money. Now, what does that mean? Do I think the Eagles, the Rams, if they beat the Eagles, would they have marched on? Personally, I do, but I'm a Rams fan. But these are all just facts I just want to lay out in the open so that everyone hears it, that everyone understands it. Eagles found their cheat code. I mean, the Eagles, their roster was their cheat code. And tip the cap to Kellen Moore. The Saints got a good one. The guy, he was with Dak Prescott and had him slinging the rock, being great. He went down there in San Diego, had Herbert slinging the rock. They didn't have success. Brandon Staley wasn't great, but the passing game has never been an issue. But he had to re-scrap everything and, go play through the run, play through the line of scrimmage, which is, that's why I tipped the cap. Eagles outcoached. They did great. But yeah, so when it comes to some of the narratives coming out of this and some of the stuff going on, they keep talking about, Mahomes isn't the GOAT. They try to defame him way below Brady now. And it's pretty bizarre. It's like people forget kind of Tom Brady's entire resume, how the career played out. Because, in the beginning of his career, won 3 Super Bowls early, did great. Then there was a good 10-year gap. They either were losing early in the playoffs, which for some reason is less of a stain on your legacy than losing in the Super Bowl. They had this huge gap. So I'm like, man, the Chiefs aren't going anywhere. I don't know why everyone gets this notion that now that they lost in the Super Bowl, like they won't just be back next year. Because they're going to be damn good. That team is damn good. They're going to revamp that O-line especially. They're going to be the Chiefs again. So I don't know where. There's a lot of people talking out on it. I don't agree with it. I think they're wrong. But that's that. And Jalen Hurts, this doesn't, I don't know about folks out there. This didn't really move him up the list for me. I still don't see him. Maybe I see him now as a top 10 quarterback. And I know the ultimate goal is winning and all that, but the roster mismatch, I mean, I said earlier in the show, KG, I'm like, this reminded me of that Rose Bowl, Ohio State, Oregon. Just a complete mismatch on the line of scrimmage, and the game starts inside to out. So I don't know. There's thoughts. If you have thoughts, let me know. If you don't, keep watching. We're moving on. I'm moving on to the NBA. Kind of going over all the transactions, what's going on, all these type of things. Wait, I might have... Yep, there's an official cancel from one of the two interviewees. Is that what you'd call it? Interviewees? Two of the guys I was supposed to interview today, one of them officially canceled, and one of them's leaving me on ghost. So it really is just me, myself, and I. Not sure the Eagles could have played a better game. 100%. That's why all the credit in the world is Sirianni. He's shown up in these Super Bowls. The Eagles don't shy away. My big thing, KG, I was very surprised. The Chiefs abandoned the run game so early. Don't get me wrong. It didn't look successful, and I'm not saying there was a reason to go back to it. Like, it wasn't like they were breaking anything off, but I mean, that was their game plan. That's how they beat teams. I mean, you saw the Rams, they kept McVay, he wasn't scared. He kept running down the Eagles' throat. I mean, even though Kyron, they get stopped, they do whatever, trust the defense, because that's another thing in this game that people don't talk about. That's how Mahomes would look every week if the Bears dropped it. Honestly, that's a fair point. I mean, you as a Bears fan, you've seen it all. That's brutal stuff. But I think abandoning the run game, going away, I mean, they only rushed 10 times, and some of them came from quarterback scrambles and things of that nature. But yeah, I mean, it was tough. It was tough showing. Of course, that's where I was getting. What people don't talk about is the Chiefs' defense. Chiefs' defense was playing great. Bottling up Saquon, getting stops. But the biggest problem were those flags. Now, no one wants to talk about the flags because that's all the Chiefs got all year, and that's all anyone will talk about. I haven't seen once on any other show, anywhere, social media, no one talks about the flags that were called against Kansas City. Those were some bad flags. Those were bad stuff. Especially the one where Trent McDuffie's jumping up for a high ball with Dallas Goedert. Ball's over both their heads, and they're going, jumping for the ball. Yeah, their heads hit a little. I mean, sorry, folks. That's why they have helmets on. And they call that flag. That was a crucial one. That was going to be fourth down, a punt. Next thing you know, they score on that possession. Pretty sure a field goal, but they still score. Another flag that was brutal. 2nd and 26. Jalen Hurts throws off a little dump pass to Saquon Barkley, or at least he tries to. Incomplete pass. Bolton gives him a chuck. Yeah, it might have been a lot. It might have been too much. Not enough to throw a flag in the Super Bowl. We're not protecting a quarterback. That's Saquon Barkley. That's a running back out there. Why are we throwing that flag? 2nd and 26 turns to 1st and 10. They get a touchdown on that drive. The Eagles, they had the deep shot to Devontae Smith. That was a dagger. That was an incredible throw, incredible catch. They had a couple to A.J. Brown down the sideline. A.J. Brown's big, strong receiver. He made catches. He made plays. Credit to him. They correctly called that offensive PI on that first little fade route they try to throw. But this was just a tough game. It all came down to the line of scrimmage. It all came down to the offensive line of scrimmage. The Joe Tooney moving around. We're moving a Hall of Fame guard to left tackle. That should have fucking set off every alarm in my brain as to this might be a repeat of the Buccaneers matchup. Because this looked not that much different. The way to beat Patrick Mahomes, we've found the new philosophy, everyone. We found the new philosophy. Have an overwhelmingly, significantly better defensive front than Mahomes' offensive front. Because, it's impossible. And that goes to show. I will say, the difference between the Buccaneers game and this Eagles game was Mahomes didn't do him any favors in the Eagles game. The Buccaneers game, he was great. He's still playing catch, making incredible plays. Yeah, there was nothing coming from it because they couldn't do anything, but he's still hitting people in the numbers, playing catch, doing the right things. I mean, he had the one where he's literally sideways floating off the ground, fires it, bounces off the player's face mask. But this Eagles one, he didn't do the Chiefs any favors. He didn't have any of the Mahomes magic. He missed throws. I mean, he's throwing the ball at Kelsey's ankles. He's throwing behind Hopkins on an out route on a crucial third down. He missed throws. Part of the game. But the reason why, I mean, this game was all about the line of scrimmage. It's all about the offensive line of scrimmage. And there's nothing more to it, which is tough, Tough day to be a Chiefs fan. Great day to be, a fan of every other team in the NFL because, fuck the Chiefs. But I got hurt. I bet on them. I bet on them heavy. I got smoked. That was a tough way to end the football season. Hurt my soul. I got to go back to the drawing board, take a lap, look in the mirror, have one of those experiences where I can maybe be a better gambler. That usually means stop gambling, but we don't do that. We're not soft. We're not scared. All right, so moving on. I'm going to cover a little bit of NBA, and really with these interviews, Balin, I really got not that much more to talk about outside of NBA, but we're going to go through it. We're going to talk about some of these moves that the teams made and what I think and what we got going on. Because I like a lot of the moves at the active teams or the active trading teams at the trade deadline. I like what they did. I like where they moved. I'm going to start with the Warriors. Jimmy Butler to the Warriors is a great fit. He's a grinder defensively and will work well with Draymond. That's the key piece. How well they will be defensively with Draymond, because Draymond's still an elite defender, even though it doesn't look like it. It doesn't look like it. He's not pretty, doesn't do anything flashy, but he's a goddamn good defender. And another thing that's going to work great with this Warriors team is the fact that Jimmy has never seen space like this on any other NBA team he's been on. He's always been, the one guy. He's getting the best matchups, and the offense kind of correlates around him, and it's, him handling the ball and stuff. No. Not anymore. Right now, he's getting a lot of one-on-one mashups that he's flourishing in so far, and as the season goes on, I believe that's going to continue. Lil Joe's Me Too on the Chiefs, but was all over the over. I mean, that's good stuff. Super Bowls, I mean, I talked to the old heads. I went in there. I had to ask them. I had to get some knowledge. I'm like, hey, Super Bowls, what's the general trend? Hey, Super Bowls are always overs. They say that's when the lights are brightest, when the stars shine the best. Usually you should take the over. So good for you, KG. You're an absolute legend. That's good stuff. So we talked Jimmy, Warriors. Great fit. And I actually see him making a little bit of a push. I don't think it would depend who they matched up with in the playoffs. I think they're still right outside that line, right in that play-in spot. Remember, guys, the 11th seed in the West is right at 500, which is absurd. Absurd. To even get in the play-in, you got to be over 500. Woo! A lot of good teams in the West. But, I think if the Warriors get a good matchup in a playoff series in round one, maybe they could be sneaky and knock a team out. Maybe a team like the Grizzlies, Rockets, maybe. Though Rockets are pretty good defensively. I don't know how good of a matchup that'd be. But the Warriors, they might be able to sneak their way back into this one. Moving on. Let's talk about the Cleveland. My voice cracked. That's tough. In 2025, you hate to see it. But the Cavaliers, man. DeAndre Hunter. What a pickup. To me, in my mind right now, this might be the best roster in the NBA. They go up right there with the Thunder. I mean, these guys are insane. Let's go through it. So, the beginning, the trade. I can't believe how little the Cleveland Cavaliers had to give up for a caliber player in DeAndre Hunter. Yes, he was coming off the bench for the... Oh, I'll get into that, KG. I'll get into that. Give me a second on Cleveland. So I can't believe how little they had to give up. They gave up Karis LeVert and a little draft capital. Yeah. And yes, you're gonna get... No, we just signed Alex Len, actually. We just signed Alex Len. Great pickup for us. Great rotational piece behind Jackson Hayes. He's been on the Kings for a while. Guy knows basketball, you know. But I'll get into that. Coming out, yeah. So DeAndre Hunter was coming off the bench for the Hawks. And that was because first injury, then the number 1 pick, Zachariah Risser, he started playing good minutes, and they took him with the number 1 pick, so you got to play him. And so they've been playing him and their guy Jalen Johnson. Though that guy's out for the season, but tough for them. He's going to be their guy going forward. He's a real player. He's 6'10", athletic, coordinated, all of it. He's a good player. I could see why they kept the 2 that they kept instead of DeAndre Hunter. But, man, DeAndre Hunter coming off the bench was averaging 19 points per game for Atlanta. And he's a perfect fit for what Cleveland was looking for. Long, versatile defender at 6'10", switch on to anyone, while also being an effective shooter on 3 and mid-range. He's a decent scorer. I think this is a kid out of Virginia when Virginia won their national title. They won March Madness. So right now, I have the Cavs being a super team. I watched them open up. I think the score was 22-3 against Minnesota yesterday. And the game was never a game. I mean, Ant had 44, but it's like, hey, buddy, we don't care. We are simply better than your roster. I think Mobley had 28, 10, and 5. Jared Allen's still a freaking monster in there. I mean, we already know Garland and Mitchell, the freak show, the hair on fire guards that run around, can score and pass anywhere. Cavs are a super team right now. Now, of course, they got to beat this Boston Celtics, who are the team to beat in the East, but woo, they look good. Look out for the Cavaliers. This is probably the best Cavaliers team of all time right now. Yep, you can quote me on saying that. This right now is the best Cleveland Cavaliers roster they've ever had. No, not when LeBron was there. Right? Not all that. Now, LeBron makes that team, a better team all time, of course. But I'm telling you, this roster's deep and they're scary. The East should, they should be worried. But let's move on. Let's go on to another team. Back out to the West. This one's a short one, quick one. De'Aaron Fox to the Spurs. It already looks incredible. The longer the season goes, the better it'll all look. I mean, the chemistry with all the young guys they got Castle, they got Sohan, of course they have Wemby. They got some of these kids that in the I have the Spurs in the top 6 teams in the West next year. That's he needs Paul to mentor him 100%, and that's why it's a great fit. Paul's there. Chris Paul's one of the all-time greats that'll never get the recognition that he deserves. But that guy's a winner. That guy knows the game of basketball like no other. He's just great player, great winner, and he's going to help Fox 100%. But I do have that team next year as a serious team. Not this year. They're still 22, 28. I don't know if they make the play-in this year. Maybe they make a run, but there's too many good teams that are already in front of them. I think this is kind of like when Kyrie was traded to the Mavericks and Luka and them, they missed the playoffs. It's kind of like that. The second season's what you're looking for. Usually it takes, you have to already establish winning at a culture to pick up a guy and make a move that year. They got time. They're going to be great. So look out for the Spurs next season. Next up, the Kings. The Sacramento Kings, where De'Aaron Fox departed from. Zach LaVine, their addition, is still struggling to shoot on his new team, but the Kings look sneaky. Kings look sneaky. DeMar DeRozan at age 34 is still killer as a scorer and has been hooping. Let me repeat that. Hooping for Sacktown as they try to gel this quickly and make a run for a playoff spot in the West. Now, do I think that means they will knock anyone out in the playoffs? Yeah, absolutely not. But, you got to play the games. But usually NBA, you can predict those pretty easily. But, they'll keep it interesting. They'll keep fighting. I mean, KG, you called this out when the move was made. This is a Chicago Bulls, a 2.0. Maybe they got, the role players and the guys around them are better, of course. But, and Sabonis, does a guy like Sabonis win a playoff series? I don't see it. I don't see your center being 6'9", 6'10". He doesn't jump out of the gym or anything. He's a down to the ground type of player. I don't know if he'll ever win a playoff series. I don't see that happening. Maybe he did in Indiana, but I don't see it happening. But yeah, so fun fact of the day that I just learned from the Klay Thompson presser. Max Christie isn't Doug Christie's son? Am I the only one that didn't know about this? I 100% the entire time he's on the Lakers thought, Max Christie was Doug Christie's son. I even thought I heard people talk about it on telecasts. And no, KG, he's not. He's not. That's been confirmed. Klay Thompson presser today when he was talking about it. Max Christie is not Doug Christie's son. Now, just for the final, oh shit, knocked over my water bottle. I'm just looking up real quick. No, they're not related, KG. This was something I found out today for the first time. And it was bizarre. Everything I believed was just wrong. Max Christie is not Doug Christie's son, folks. I swear I would hear it announced on, they're not related. They're not related at all. Isn't that bizarre? It's bizarre to me. Because I was led on this narrative. I didn't even think twice. I thought it was told on the broadcast and normally. I thought everyone knew this. But I guess everyone knew it wrong. Everyone knew it wrong. So there's your fun fact of the day. Max Christie's not Doug Christie's son. So if you thought that, you're just like me and a stooge. You hit yourself in the fucking noggin. Get you right. But looking at other teams that were active in that trade deadline, kind of that area that aren't looking that great. The Suns, Phoenix Suns, they're in shambles, all about that front office drama. KD didn't want to be traded. He never had any indication of wanting to be traded. And then he hears himself in trade talks. He's a soft guy. Hey, I'm a soft guy. I'd be soft too. I'd respond too on Twitter if people were chirping me the way they chirp him. But, that causes problems. That's not great for them. Another team, Dallas. Dallas is in trouble because their star that they traded a 25-year-old global superstar for this guy. Anthony Davis is now out indefinitely. All I got to say is, uh-oh, because as a Lakers fan, I do not miss that. I do not miss that at all. Because it's just a sad, sad life. It's sad stuff. Yep, Anthony Glasshouse Davis. Hey, in the past 2 seasons, he's been fighting those allegations. Last season played 76 games, I believe. Got the hiccups, that's me. Last year played 76 games. I think was close to 70 the year before. But right when he's the man, right when the pressure's highest, I mean, the growing tweaks, it's tough. The Mavericks president of operations came out and said, kind of took shots at Luka, kind of comparing, their star players, if you don't want to work hard every day like the greats did before us, and he referred to Kobe Bryant, Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, and the funniest one of the names, he referred to Shaquille O'Neal, said, if you don't want to work hard every day, then we don't want you here on the Mavericks, kind of taking a shot at Luka's work ethic and all that. First things first, if you're talking about Shaquille O'Neal, he got ran out of LA because he was a fat slob, because he wouldn't cut his weight. He wouldn't, put the extra work in that Kobe wanted him to, as well as the front office wanted him to. So he got shipped to Miami. Yeah, he got, a ring on that, scrapped together, led by star D Wade roster in Miami. No finals MVP, but, he refers to this, and I'm like, you know what? Mavericks fans, Dallas, honestly, yeah, the city of Dallas, I'm sorry. I'm genuinely sorry. Because you added the 25-year-old superstar, the all-timer, guy that after his rookie season, people were already considering, like, this guy might finish top 10 in his NBA career. All these things. And you trade him for not even a good haul. Yeah, you get Anthony Davis. I know he's all NBA, and I would speak the world of Anthony Davis because he is that guy. But Anthony Davis has never had success being the best player on his team. Farthest he made was second round of the playoffs in New Orleans. Now, that roster wasn't great, yada, yada. Say what you will, but that's reality. Kyrie Irving is the number one ball handler on his team. Hasn't had success. Look at where he's gone. After he left Cleveland, Boston, no success. After he left Boston, went to New Jersey Nets or Brooklyn Nets. Couldn't get it done. No success. Now, injuries, you can play the game and go through it all. Kyrie Irving should not be your number one ball handler. Yes, he's an all-time talent, but that's just not who he is. He's closer to Allen Iverson than he is Chris Paul. He's a small guard and can be labeled point guard, but he's a shooting guard. He scores. He's a bona fide scorer. So all these type things, and you made the trade, you got rid of Luka. I mean, it's devastating for Dallas. And we'll look back. I mean, the Rob Pelinka will now get a statue in front of Crypto.com Arena because of this trade. Good for him. Good for him because, I've had my thoughts about Rob Pelinka, and I still do. I mean, he got bailed out with this fucking cookie in his lap, but it is what it is. Is there anything else to talk about? Anything else I missed? Anything new on the day? Does anyone see anything? Because I went in here, thought I had interviews coming on. I got a couple bets. Anyone want to hear some bets? Maybe I get through the bets. We'll go through some bets. Things I like. U of A at Kansas State today. U of A's been on a run. They started out the season flat, kind of embarrassing. Bear Down was not fired up for their basketball program. I'm gonna get to that one in a sec, KG. But they were making a bounce back. They're clawing back in this Big 12 and want to make this tournament and make a rumble in it. And I believe in them. I've seen it. They're winning these games. So I like U of A minus 3.5 at Kansas City State. That's number one. Next, Grizzlies at Suns. If you just go in and look at the two teams, the Suns are in shambles and it doesn't look like it's going anywhere. I think Bradley Beal's still coming off the bench. All the rumblings inside. Budenholzer's kind of look like not the greatest hire. It's not look great. And then you look at the Grizzlies. I mean, they're the second seed in the West. The Grizzlies. I mean, Ja doesn't even play all his games. They're just a deep, well-coached, well-orchestrated roster. So I'm like, I don't see why I wouldn't take the Grizzlies tonight minus 4.5. Again, at Suns. I'll do a little more research on that one because I don't know how much I love it. Because it's like, when you have KD on the other team. But the Suns aren't anything impressive, and the Grizzlies are. So give me the Grizzlies minus 4.5 against the Suns. I like that. Now this one. This one is kind of a gut shot. I just like the Wolf kid on Michigan. I'm a big Michigan fan, I guess, college basketball this year. And they are at home against Purdue. Yeah. On the road or at home against Purdue, and they're 2.5 point favorites. I'm taking Michigan. I'm taking Michigan. I'm taking the home team. I like what they do. And that's what I got. U of A minus 3.5, Grizz minus 4.5, Michigan minus 2.5. Or yeah. Michigan 2.5 and the under. So talk to me. What screams under at you? I don't know how to. I wouldn't even know how to go about it betting the over unders in college basketball games. So type out what you think, and I'm gonna keep going. I'm gonna just start talking about random shit. Yeah, I mean, we already in this show went over the hires throughout the NFL. I mean, Kellen Moore was the last one to take the Saints job, and I think good for him. Saints are in a world of trouble. I hope they have an agreement where it's like, hey, can you give me at least 5 years, to fucking fix this thing? We got dead cap for the following year. I got a Derek Carr that's awful. I mean, you got a lot of bad stuff over there. But, he's taking it. Putting on the coat. Take New Orleans back to greatness. I'd sign off. Brandon Ingram's just signed a 3-year contract with the Toronto Raptors. Pelicans made a move, finally got off Ingram, and I get it, if you're average, or actually, they're not even average, they're bottom of the West. If you're just that shitty, you got players that can't play, might as well offload and try to get yourself some assets to be better in the future. And for the Raptors, you get a bona fide scorer, to complement Scotty Barnes and what you got going on over there. RJ Barrett, all those guys. You got length, you got size, you can figure it out. Next season, watch out for them. They might be a little better than everyone anticipated. KG Little Joes, he's given us the wisdom of the day. In conference games, play defense second half. So if you are at half, you're under at halftime, you are usually in good shape to hit the under in most conference games. I'm a little sideways. Maybe I don't know how to read. I'm not a great reader, but a little lost. So in conference games, play defense. So they play really good defense in the second half in conference games because they are always trying. Is that the implication? So if you're at half, you're under it. Oh, I see. Okay. Hey, I like that. That's good reasoning. That makes sense to me. That's a lot of things I got, like in the betting world, it's got to make sense to me. So that second half, okay. I see. Okay, so that's good stuff. You know what? Honestly, I'm going to blindly tell you on the under. I'm going to parlay those. Fuck it. Michigan minus 2.5 and the under. Just jotted that down. Why not? I like that. Couple more news. See if there's anything I can talk about. Real Madrid did something crazy in the 92nd minute. Ohio State meets with Patricia for defensive coordinator job. Angels got a closer, Jansen, baseball guy. That's me. Angels, not a baseball guy, but Angels. Cristiano Ronaldo to extend his Saudi deal until 2026. Cristiano Ronaldo is making a lot of money. A lot of tax-free money, and I don't think that guy gives one single shit where it comes from. Hey, kudos to you. Money's money. I'd take the deal. Why wouldn't you? That's like that argument the whole time between PGA and Live. The fact that was even a conversation. I'm taking the money. What are we talking about? It was so stupid. You remember when all that was going on? Now it's all crumbling back. Everything's coming back. We got Knicks Pacers tonight. Knicks are only minus 2.5. Interesting. Don't know where I'd go on that one. Bradley Beal's out for the Suns. Yeah, so the Grizzlies really confuse me. I don't watch them enough to know what the hell is going on. They're good. Looking for an underdog, Bulls. You think Bulls at home against Pistons? Why not? I mean, fuck, they're not only conference, they're divisional. You think the Bulls, can be sneaky? Why not? That actually might be a good one. That might be a good one. And yeah, I mean, that basically covers all the sports I can think of, folks. You know, I thought we were going to have a, I thought they were going to have a, I thought we were going to have a couple guests today. They backed out. That was tough. Miss them dearly. We miss them. Only because they will mess up our draft pick. Dude, I mean, the NBA is kind of dumb how it does the lottery. I'm not a big fan of it. Yeah, I guess you have to because there's such a finite line between who can win a championship and who can't. There's no point to just meaninglessly be 500 every year, kind of like how the Steelers are. So there's a lot more, but the lottery's tough. Lottery's tough. Well, who's the team that's just been so astronomically dog shit but can't get a good pick? Maybe it's the Bulls. Maybe it was you. How's Buzelis? Is Buzelis anything? Is he anything special or is he a role player, KG? Let me know. I actually have questions. Like, tell me a little bit about the Bulls roster as I sit here and scrap for anything. For the Luka Lakers, I mean, I know they played the Jazz, but guess what? Tomorrow night, they play the Jazz. So we're still going to get, honestly, good reps for us, you know, playing against a little JV team like the Jazz. They have no fight. You know, they're playing for the tank. Maybe Danny Ainge can do something with that organization. But, I mean, fuck, I'll get into a rant about this. I got time. Dude, that kid is going to be a stud if he gets enough playing time. Okay, so the Matas Buzelis, he's a real player. That's what I thought. It looked like it. And then it looked like the Bulls were in a funky spot where it's like we still have Levine and DeRozan. So it's like we're stupid if we're not trying. But thank God, or no, not DeRozan. My bad. We still have Levine, but I'm glad you guys got off of him. Other night, kid was 10 for 10, dunking all over people and hitting threes. I did see that game. That was good stuff. I loved that. Yeah, no, I mean, hey, as a Laker fan, I root for most NBA teams. I'm going to be honest, because my Laker fandom came from being just a diehard LeBron Glazer. Yeah, I started in Cleveland, though I didn't realize what was going on in life at 10 years old. Then he goes to Miami. I had the Miami Heat jersey. I got the Braun jersey. I'm walking around. Everyone's got Kobe, Lakers. I mean, remember, I'm in Southern California. This is Mamba territory. I'd walk around. I didn't give a fuck. I'm King James. What you know about it? In all the arguments, do all of it. I've done all the stuff. I've fought in all the battles. But now I'm officially a Laker for life. Just like LeBron. Just like many of my friends. Just like everyone else. Lakers. Oh, rant. Yeah. I want to talk about the fact that the NBA should shrink. We should take 2 teams from each conference, cut them, get them out. You know, Pelicans, pathetic. Jazz, pathetic. Take those 2. Hornets have always been pathetic. I know they have LaMelo and those guys, so that maybe makes it a little difficult, but there's teams we could take out. And if you just moved those players, the players that actually can play, onto other rosters, I mean, you just have a better league and a better product. I blame China. I blame China for the NBA results and what's going on in the league, because the viewership is so down in the United States, but somehow these guys still have a lot of money, and it generates so much money. It's got to be international, and you know, China loves the NBA, so I blame China. That's those are my thoughts on the NBA. Shrink the league, cut some of this garbage out. It's not, you know, make it even more selective, and really take guaranteed money out of sports. That's another thing. Mic drop. I'll put it there. Take guaranteed money out of sports. Some of these NBA guys, I mean, you see them get paid and they stop playing. You know, something hurts. Oh, my butt hurts, or my knee hurts. I can't play. Nothing happens to them because, you know, they're still making 100+ million. Take out guarantees. I'm not saying lower the prices at all. I'm not saying take away their money. But in a sense, I'm like, you shouldn't be guaranteed all this money if you only play half your games, like Joel Embiid. Joel Embiid has made hundreds of millions of dollars. And that's something that no one else in this world could accomplish. making hundreds of millions, sitting on your ass, hurt on a bench, losing games, no championships, can't even make it to a conference championship. 170 million, I believe, is the number he's made being out. Take guaranteed money out of sports, folks. You got to keep the urgency. It's the only way to keep it. Baseball players, I mean, fuck, Mike Trout, I love him to death. And I know the Angels haven't done anything to give him even close to a chance to compete. But, every year, halfway through, when he sees the Angels are shit again, gets hurt, hangs out, lives in Southern California making a $400 million deal. If you don't play your games, you shouldn't get your money. Just like if I don't pay you money, you're not going to play games for me. Oh, we got a little ad pop up. It's not sponsored. Don't read it. Don't take it. So take guaranteed money out of sports. Shrink the NBA. These are recipes for greatness. I'm telling you. I wish I didn't believe myself. But this is real. It's what we should do. So there we go. Talked NBA. Talked final Super Bowl thoughts. And that's really all that. Interviewees didn't come on. And that is that. So that'll be the show today, folks. KG, appreciate you showing out. As for everyone else that tuned in, this was the Wanna Parlay podcast, the official podcast of home of all things Wanna Parlay, granddaddy of the $2 parlay and the world's richest parlay. The platform that makes parlays for the working American man, because that's what we are and that's what we care about. Thanks to nobody, not even my co-host, for joining the show today. Didn't get guests, didn't get co-hosts, just me up here yapping my thoughts. But once again, thank you guys for joining. We'll be back Thursday, hopefully with me and Jack, at 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern. I don't know what we're going to be going over, but tune in. It's going to be an incredible show. I hope you enjoyed the show today. A little one-man army action. And yeah, that'll be all. Salute.